This is Real Talk with Brendan Bardick, where we'll be talking about the latest real estate strategies, scripts, top producing techniques, and everything you're going to want to know about how to be an elite real estate agent or real estate coach, or just a great business person. Hi, my name is Brendan Bardick with Brendan Bardick Real Estate Coaching, where our mission is to train the most elite real estate agents and coaches on earth. Today, I'm going to be taking you through my top 5 listing lead sources, right? So these are the top 5 listing lead sources that have helped me make millions of dollars in residential real estate and that I know will be able to help you. So some of these might be familiar. A few of them, I definitely don't think most people are doing them. So I know you'll get a lot of value. I teach an entire course on this called How to Find and Sell 100 plus homes each and every year. And the how to find 100 plus homes to be able to list and sell, I'm going to go through my top 5. In that class, I go through my top 20. So you're going to get the top 5. Again, no spoiler alert. In the other course, we go through it a lot more in detail, different strategies, techniques. This is just a nice jump off to get you to understand, hey, here's some ideas of what you should be doing. Here's some techniques on how to do it. And again, if you implement these, I know you'll be setting appointment after appointment, taking listing after listing, and having an amazing real estate career, which is what we all want. So, all right, so let's jump right into it. And we're going to start out with number 5. So we'll kind of do a number 5 countdown. All right. So if we're looking at number 5, we're going to say that these are what I call just sold. Okay. So my top 5, number 5 lead source is just sold. So a just sold, and we have a script for all of this on our private Facebook page, which is Brendan Bardick Real Estate Coaching. The just sold means that you or someone in your office just sold a home, and you're going to call that neighborhood and you're going to say, hey, this is Brendan with XYZ Company. We just sold the home at 123 Elm Street. It was right next to, and I always give a landmark in this script. So the park, the school, the Target, next to Horizon Middle School, Cimarron Elementary, whatever it is, because you got to trigger the person on the call to make sure that they understand what's happening here. So we just sold this home at 123 Elm Street, right down the street from Horizon Middle School. It sold over asking in less than 24 hours. And I was actually working with a young couple that missed out on that opportunity. So I'm calling the neighborhood to see if you or anyone you know might be interested in selling. That's the script. Now, we teach the entire process of what goes down from there after that. They say yes, no, don't ever call me again, which may sometimes happen, but I make these calls all the time. My team makes these calls. I've been making them for years. It was one of the backbones that helped me sell thousands and thousands of homes, and it's there. You have to agree. Think about it like this. When you think about a listing lead source, someone out there right now needs to sell their home or is thinking about selling their home. You just have to get to them and have a reason to get in front of them about why they might be interested in selling their home. Okay? So you can do that. You can also go with, I have an investor that's interested in making a cash offer on your home. Okay, so same script, but investor. If you don't have an investor that's willing to make a cash offer on the home, believe me, go to your office, talk to people and say, if I found you a great deal, would you be open to putting an instant cash offer on a home? I guarantee you somebody will say yes. That's the easiest part is if you find a good deal, you can find an instant cash offer. Now, the seller might not like that deal. So that's your leverage point with the just sold is, hey, if I could offer you an instant cash offer, would you be interested in the property? They're going to say, well, that depends on the price. Well, I'd like to come over, take a look at the property, and we can discuss if it's the right fit. I have time today at 4, is tomorrow at 1 o'clock work better for you? Okay? So giving them options, right, is a big thing. We teach an entire course on instant cash offer, how to sell your homes in 60 days or I'll buy it, fix and list programs. All of that are just options to get me in the door to meet with the seller to see what their real needs are and if I can help them. That's what we're trying to accomplish. All right. So just sold is our number 5. So looking at the next one, we're going to go with number 4. And this is the NED. Notice of elected demand. This is what we call our pre-foreclosure bucket. These are people that are 30, 60, 90 days past due on their mortgage payment, that are more than likely going into some sort of financial hardship, that are going to possibly foreclose on their property. All right? You can get this list from your local title company, usually provides this for you. A lot of times you'll see this pop up on Zillow, and then you can go to truepeoplesearch.com, do a reverse address search, and find the seller's contact information. We have a script for this. Like I said, if you click on the link below, that'll help you understand how to do this. But it's pretty, this is, again, people get all wrapped up in this mindset of like, oh, this is such a terrible call to make. Hey, look, I'm just trying to stop people from going to foreclosure and saving any equity they have in their property before they lose it all. Everybody has hardship. People get divorced. People lose their jobs. People spend too much and got in way over their head. You know, that's the other big issue is, you know, you got to take your mindset out of this of being, hey, you know, I'm feeling bad about trying to help people avoid foreclosure. That's the whole reason why you're doing it, is to help people avoid foreclosure, because you know that that's really going to damage them. This is what top agents are doing. This is the kind of stuff that people don't realize. Well, hey, why does he sell 200 homes, 500 homes, 1,000 homes, and I only sell 10? These are the things that they're doing. These are the techniques, and they're not that hard. They're all available there for us. It's just people don't do it because, yes, is it a little hard on the front side to get the list and run the numbers? Of course it is. But these are $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50, $80,000 opportunities. It should take a little bit of work. So that's a huge bucket to dial into that's going to give you a great success there. So that's number 5, or number 4. Number 3 is rent by owner. Okay? Sorry, that O got a little weird there. So rent by owner. So these are landlords that you're going to offer, and we have a script for this, that might possibly be interested in selling their property either now or in the future. So where do you find rent by owners? Well, you can pay for the service. There's companies like the Red X, Vulcan 7. They'll give you that data. Mojo Dialing Solutions, I believe, also does it. Actually, I know they do it. So there's different companies where you can pay to get this data on a daily basis. You can go and source this data yourself. So Craigslist, rent.com, all these places, and go that way. Zillow, you can go that way. And then again, use a service like True People Search to run a reverse address search to see if you can find the phone number, contact information, and go about it that way. You can also go through your local MLS, go to the tax records, and in the Realist tax records, that's what ours is called, but I know all the MLSs have a tax record. You can search for out-of-state owners. Out-of-state owners. Hello, those are more than likely landlords if they're living in their primary residence is out of state. So, could you find their phone number? Yes, possibly. Could you mail them something? Yes, you could mail them a CMA and say, hey, look, I just wanted to provide you with this informational mini market analysis. You don't have to say mini, but market analysis. I had some investors that were interested about your property. Please give me a call if you have any interest in selling your portfolio. If I got that letter and I go, my gosh, my renter for the 9th time in a row has destroyed the place, burned the carpet, skipped out on rent, it might be that perfect timing where I go, this guy specializes in tenant-owned properties. Listen to that part there. He specializes or she specializes in tenant-owned properties. I should probably give them a call. The whole thing about listing sources is, how do I get in front of people to have success? How do I get my information in front of people to have success and be there when the time is right? It's not going to work every single time. If it did, everybody would be doing it. That's why nobody does it, because they're like, oh man, if it doesn't work like immediately, what a waste of time. I'm not doing that, because nothing like that exists. This is, you send 10 letters, you get one call. You send 10 things, you get one response. And that one response turns into $10, $20, $30, $50,000. And then you hit the jackpot and you find an investor who has 10, 15, 20 properties. And he decides to use you because the last agent that he just used was a moron and didn't help him get what he wanted to. So he just fired him. And how funny that he got your letter or your note card or your package that day, or your phone call or your text. Okay? See what we're doing here? So think it through. Don't look short side, look long side. You want a real estate career, not a real estate year. Okay? Real estate career, not a real estate year. All right. Number 2, FSBOs, for sale by owners. Okay? For sale by owners. Classic, simple, easy to understand. Everybody gets, they say like, I can tell you this from experience, because even on my team, the one bucket that people always seem to struggle with, they're like, for sale by owners. And I'm like, why? They already made a decision to sell. They just don't know that they need you yet. That's all I think about with that psychology. People are like, well, they yelled at me and they asked me if I don't have a buyer, don't call them back. Here's the thing. All that means is that you haven't been scripted enough and detailed enough and your value strong enough to be able to make them see worth. Now, here's the pro tip on this, right? With a for sale by owner, it's not about if, it's about when. I'm there as a backup option. So we provide this script, and I'll just give you a quick little kind of glimpse. So, yeah, John, I was calling about the home for sale at 123 Elm Street. Is this the owner? Or excuse me, you call up because you don't know, you might not know who the owner. Yeah, this is the owner. Oh, and who am I speaking with? Yeah, this is John. Hey, John, this is Brendan Bardick with Keller Williams Real Estate. Hey, I was calling about your property because I was curious if you had the right situation and I could work with you today, take away all of the stress of selling the property and have you make more money without doing any of the work, if you'd be interested in listing the property with myself. It's pretty simple. If I could show you how to do that in 15 minutes, would that be something you would have interest in? Would there be value there for you? No. You know what? Yeah, we get a lot of calls from agents. Let me ask this then, John. Now that I got you on the call, hey, it sounds like, you hopefully you do get it sold. But let me ask you, what about having a backup option? If for some reason you don't get to where you're wanting to go, I'm going to be in your neighborhood tomorrow at 4:00. I'd like to stop by, meet with you. It only take 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minute tops. Explain what I do, how I get it done, and how I can get you more money in your pocket with you doing less work. Are you going to be at your house tomorrow at 4? Okay? So all I need to do is get in front of them, make them understand how amazing I am, and that I'm there when they need me, and then I'm going to continue to follow up. All right? I hear people all the time, they go into these scenarios and they're like, yeah, do you have a buyer? Yeah, I've got a buyer. Okay, well, can you bring them by? Sure, yeah. Does tonight work? And you bring your cousin to the property, your sister. You're going in under false pretenses. What's the point of going on an appointment where he thinks that you have he doesn't know that you have a fake buyer, but you have a fake buyer because you think somehow you're going to switch over from this fake buyer to a real buyer and this magically all is going to work. Now, will that work? Yes, of course it will work. I've seen it work a few times with scummy agents that do that technique, and you can get it to work, but it's few and far between, and it's pretty sad style of having to go into it. I always say the best thing is come legit, come with your value, come honest, come and say like, look, this is why I do this. Here's what it saves you. Okay? Then as you get the objections, the scripts, and all these handlers down, and there's so many different variations of how to do it, the smoother you get, the more confident you get, the more that people are going to realize that they need your services. Right now, they just don't realize that they need you yet. Okay? So that's a huge bucket. Now, the reason these are in order, right, that you see them, is because that's my check down every morning as an agent. I go through all 20 lead source ideas, or buckets, and go through them one by one and exhaust each one of them. And the reason they're in the order that they are, and the number one bucket being expired, right? Expired listings is because they already, you know that they need to sell, and they've already decided to use a real estate agent. That's why they're the number one bucket. That's why there's so much value there, right? That's why they're the number one possible source. If I had a gun to my head and you said, you need to set a listing appointment by Friday at 5 o'clock, I'm going expireds all day, door knocking them, calling them. So here's the mindset for expireds. Psychologically, you need to be the hero. So you're going into this going, look, I can appreciate something happened here that didn't work out. We have the full script. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm here from saving you from making that same mistake again. Let me take you there. Let me help you, right? That's how you have to look at it. Now, what that means then is then you have to have energy, passion, and you have to be first. If you're not first, you're last with expireds. So what time do you start calling it, right? I know some agents that call expireds at 7 a.m. I know some agents that call them even earlier than that. We feel that that sweet spot for myself is 7:45, right? For myself and the team, about 7:45 is that sweet spot for us. Are you still going to get yelled at? Sometimes. Are you still going to have people go, you're the 20th person that's called me? Sometimes. But you're also, here's the other thing about expireds. Here's some pro tips and secret sauce. Call when other people won't. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Saturday evening, Sunday evening, evenings in general, in the evenings at 7 o'clock at night, because some people work weird shifts in different times, right? Call them 3 times a day, right? So morning, noon, and night, weekends. That's the big piece. And then with expireds, the other pro tip is the biggest day for expireds is the first of the month. So circle on your calendar, that's when the most homes expire every single month, and dominate that day. Dominate that day. Now, here's the thing I will tell you about expireds. They're not for the faint of heart, and don't waste your time if you're not going to do them consistently and you're not going to get your scripts and dialogues practiced and correct. If you call up and do this, my broker told me I should go call expireds. Okay. I got this script. I printed it off the internet and I'm going to go and do this. You're going to get annihilated because there's people that do this at a very high level. It would be like me trying to step up and hit a baseball from a major league pitcher, right? I can't hit a 100-mile fastball. I can't hit a 50-mile fastball, let alone, so it would make no sense. I would have to practice to get up to that point to be able to even feel comfortable swinging at the bat without me getting smacked in the face with the ball. That's the thing. I'm not saying you need to play at a major league level, but you've got to get some practice in before you make that first call. So get a role play partner, practice in the mirror, record it on your phone, listen to your scripts and dialogues, write them out, get your objection handlers down. So when you make that call and they go, how'd you get my phone number? You know what to say. When you make that call and they go, I'm going with the same agent, you know what to say. When you make that call and they go, you're the 50th person that's called, you know what to say to continue that conversation to a successful conclusion, which is you setting the listing appointment. Okay? So you've got, and there's so many more of those, right? We have an entire script book called 50 Objections Handled. The top 50 that you're ever going to hear, all you got to do is go to the Facebook page, and then it's all there, all the files, checklist, all kind of cool stuff for you there. But yeah, check that out. It'll help you immensely, okay? So to recap, every morning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I show you the other 15 in the entire full class. Get these into your regimen. Now, maybe you go, hey, look, that one's not for me, that one's not for me, but I'm going to do that one and this one. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But eventually, you're going to run out of numbers to call. There's only so many sources in each call, and you're going to run out of those numbers if you're not dialing that in specifically, okay? So remember that. You want to start every day with who's the most likely to sell and work all the way down. And here's what most people do. They start with their number one bucket being their sphere. Hey, I'm all by referral, man. All I do is, my sphere. I've found very few agents in all of my years that sell 100 plus homes a year from calling their sphere. Do they exist? Yes. Do unicorns exist? No, but they might. I don't know. That's how rare it is for me to think about somebody that does 100 plus homes a year strictly by referral, because you have to feed it with other buckets. And even those agents, when they say I'm all by referral, I know these agents, they got internet leads, they've got all kind of other things that they're doing, relocation leads and all that. So I'm not saying it's not possible. If you know an agent that's doing 100 plus homes strictly by referral, I would love to talk to them. Put their name in that comment box, or put your name in that comment box. I would love to set up a podcast with you to figure out what you're doing, because it's very difficult to do that, because again, with your sphere, think about this, your sphere or your center of influence, you don't know if they need to sell today. Hello, I know they need to sell. I know they want to sell. I know that these people own properties that they may need to sell. I know this person might be going into foreclosure, so they need to sell. And this person is just basically me calling up the area because I have a buyer for your home and I have call technology to help me do that. Would you be interested in selling? So believe me, these resources work, right? You just have to believe in it. You have to get the energy, the confidence, the scripts to dial into it. So I know this helped. I would love your comments. I thrive off of your feedback, your likes. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more great videos like this. Share this video with somebody else that's struggling right now to find listings and to find business. Share this with them and say, hey, look, I think this will help you dial it in. Go to the Facebook page, get the scripts, and as always, I wish you great success.